Ladies and gentlemen, let's Red Gaming Sitcom video. Let's discuss the Assassin's Creed Unity situation, shall we? Now this one is a bit complicated because it comes to us from a leaker and the person has managed to get hold of the copy of the game early. Now the leaked version of the game that's being shown is caused an uproar on the normal websites such as NeoGAF. Game just doesn't look as good as what Ubisoft said, and in fact the leakers said, well yes, Ubisoft lied on screenshots posted and published videos as far as it does not hesitate to criticize them. Those are his words. Now most of this is French, so the problem is we are using Google Translate in some cases, but the evidence is kind of clear. And rather than linking to the videos, I'm not going to bother because they're continuously being pulled down by Ubisoft. So fast it's pointless for me to try and keep on top of it. Instead, I'm going to link to two threads on NeoGAF. The first thread is going to be basically the one where they're discussing the gameplay. Now that thread is being consistently updated. I believe it's on edit 3 or 4 as of time of me recording this, because as I said, the video continuously is being pulled down. The second thread I'm going to link to is this chap who is basically the leaker. He's called out to the gaming community to not get so upset, basically. Now, let's start with that first. In other words, the call to the community. He says that the images have been around the web, and I see them over and over again on foreign websites, so just like the video, it's out of control and it saddens him. He then just goes to say that I want to say that images are taken directly screenshot function of the PS4 and that the function deteriorates a little the images. As I said, this is through Google Translate. As I often take screenshots with fraps, I'm going to say that the 4K resolution, I can tell that the screenshot function of the PS4 is not very good. No, it's actually kind of crappy. It really does compress video quite a bit. I've got to say that the function of the PS4 is not that great in that respect. But anyway, it is what it is. It's not awful, but it's not as good maybe as what we'd hoped it would be. So anyway, you have to know that the game is much better / beautiful when it's shown in video, and yes, there are times when it's a bit ugly and others where it's very beautiful. You must understand that Ubisoft make compromises with graphics and the population density plus animations of the streets plus small details, blah 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 blah. He then asserts that basically there's a lot of little animations, you know, and basically he listens to the conversations of the NPCs, and he says, well, I can't really imagine how much work has actually been behind all this. Paris is huge, vibrant, and it is a success. Perhaps we are entitled to a day one patch. In other words, possibly they're going to patch it. Who the hell knows? It's pretty frequent now. And now is the part that's pissing people off. Or at least causing riots. So yes, Ubisoft lied on screenshots posted and published videos, but the game is still beautiful, lively, and really fun to play. So he's basically saying that there are also texture issues, low quality textures in the distance. Now, people have already started to criticize, well, pretty much quite a lot of stuff. Regarding the models, regarding the gameplay itself, regarding the fact that, well, it just doesn't look as good as what Ubisoft had said. And there are calls for the fact that it's been visually downgraded. Some are arguing that it has been, all of the footage, including that's been partially advertised to be on the PS4, has actually been PC footage and blah blah blah. In other words, bullshot stuff. I'm pretty sure I don't need to explain to you what bullshot stuff is. And in another thread, there's actually comparisons and images that are already being popping up. And I've got to say, it's gonna be interesting. Because people are not happy with this. Now, I was tempted to do an article, but instead I'm not going to. I'll tell you why. Because I don't think at this point it's fair for me to kind of do like a graphics comparison, considering a lot of it is just, well, we're looking at, of course, of something that's not released, so technically there could be a day one patch to increase texture resolution or performance or whatever, and we don't know the state of the version of the game he's got, basically. The other thing is, because this is being pulled out of basically the PlayStation 4 share function, it's not it's pretty much like me taking the version and running a little bit of Gaussian blur on it. It does lower the quality. Now, I'm not saying the guy is wrong. I do hasten to add that just looking at the images, you can tell there is a difference. Now, he does say that he is a gamer. He often plays on a 4K TV with SLI Titans and on very high-end GPUs. And he does find it interesting that graphically that it's limited by a $400 hardware. You must take this into account, and frankly the game is excellent value for the money. So I don't know about this one. I think it's quite an interesting situation, because now this is a problem that I've been kind of skirting around for a while, and I do think it deserves its own video. I don't think the game's been extremely downgraded. And I think, in a way, downgraded is the wrong term for this, because it's kind of not. It's just that they're not showing the correct version. So, how I'm seeing this is, let's take the Xbox One version out of the equation for a second, and let's talk about the PS4 and the PC. Now, PC, there are PC-specific settings. Some are, as far as I'm aware, available only on NVIDIA hardware. And then you've got basically console stuff. So how it looks like is they've basically turned off certain functions for the PC version, running it on the highest quality settings, and then this is what people are asserting anyway, and then they're basically trying to palm that off as the console versions. So it's not really a downgrade, it's just that it was just being dishonest to begin with. And I personally feel that developers should... I feel that when they're showing footage, if it's in development, they should say it's on a dev kit, which is to represent the game. And they should, if it's basically running on PC, you know, let's say it's a cross-platform game, and the version they're showing is on PC. And here's the thing, you don't blame a developer for showing the best version of the game. I would. You know, I do a bit of marketing as kind of a job, and I would do it. I would show the PC version. I'd be bloody well showing that at 1080p with FXAA not enabled. I'd be using like MSAA and everything else, highest quality settings and stuff. But I would be honest about it. I would say, this is what it looks like on PC. And then that's it. The problem with you're getting is you're shooting consumer confidence, because you can't continuously do this. There's... I can't remember what the term is, but there's a term in actually McDonald's where basically McDonald's are starting to lose market share for those of us who are 20 to 30 years of age. So in other words, let's say you're 25, 35, something along those lines. Less of us are going. And we are talking about people who frequent fast food restaurants. So not necessarily those like myself who are health conscious and just don't eat it because I don't want to eat McDonald's. But we're talking about just kind of the regular people, those who, you know, eat out occasionally like restaurants. And the reason that's being cited, and through marketing studies, by the way, is because people don't feel that McDonald's are being honest. You've seen the memes on the internet, and you know what it's like when you go to a restaurant and you see the bloody burger or whatever the hell it is, and it looks like there's a lot of meat there, and you've got, you know, the great lettuce, and it looks like really well represented, and it looks amazing. And then you buy the thing, and you're like, what's this? You know, are you kidding me? It looks like you just scraped it off the floor, and they possibly did. That's the worst thing. And it's being even worsely represented because they're getting like bloggers, and they'll get in like actual journalists to show them their food because they believe it's going to be a like a marketing gimmick or a campaign. The problem is, you know, you'll give Bob the journalist like the burger that's not the one that's representative. It's not representing what's actually going to be on a customer's plate. You're giving them like a high-end version of a meal. So once again, the blogger or the journalist is saying, this is pretty cool, actually, this is pretty nice. And then, you know, you're seeing it in this magazine, because, you know, of a journalist, but once again, in reality, it's not really like that. And so they are starting to lose marketing share, and you're actually starting to get, like, other restaurant chains that are starting to get more and more of the 20 to 30 demographic, simply because of this reason. And obviously, restaurants and gaming is very different. They're very different mediums. But you could start seeing what I mean. You don't want a situation where we already have a position where we don't believe E3 trailers. Now we're having positions where we're in a position where we don't really trust even E3 gameplay. Like, trailers were one thing. In late 2000s, especially, I would even say PS2 era, we didn't really trust the actual trailers. We were like, everyone remembers the whole infamous, what was it, Killzone 2, I think it was? I think it was Killzone 2 from Sony, and then we all know what happened with that. So, that became a thing. Then, of course, screenshots, they became a thing. Now, even gameplay is becoming suspect, because once again, how much do you trust it? I don't know. As I said, I don't want to call this one way or the other, because I'm not playing the bloody game. And so I'll wait until I've got the bloody game in my hand before I make a decision regarding its final quality. But I've got to say, if this is fairly accurate, and I mean, the guy is playing it, that's the thing, and he seems like he knows what he's doing. He's got a fairly high-end PC setup, and just from looking at other people's posts, looking at, like, from leaks and information regarding this, it does appear that we're in a bit of a weird situation. Basically, we have another Watch Dogs on our hands, is what many people are concerned with, and we all know the story about that. And I think it's really sad, because the fact of the matter is the game looks fun. It's like Watch Dogs. I thought the game was kind of cool. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't think it was revolutionary, but I thought it was kind of cool. But you know what destroys the game more than anything else? You know what gives it a bad impression in people's minds? When it's not what they thought it was going to be. It's better to actually be honest at the start, not cause these media stinks, not piss off your customer base, not have people crying regarding visual downgrading. I mean that, I know that sounds a bit harsh, but I mean it in a very nice way. In other words, not have people complain, oh my god, the game doesn't look like it's supposed to. Just be honest. Just tell us what it is. Be honest about the whole resolution stuff as well while we're at it. Don't try to palm it off if we're going cinematic. Don't try to palm off 30 frames per second as this or that. Just be honest as to the reason. Say this is the best we're going to do. Have a title that represents it. Be honest of the hardware that you're running the sodding thing on as well. And this isn't, by the way, extended to all games on with all AAA platforms or publishers. And then I think we would be in a much better situation. And then we'd actually be in a position where, yes, a game might not quite live up to the gameplay side of things, but you know what? I think we could all forgive that much better, don't you? Anyway, I'm going to be really watchful on how this situation develops, because it's pretty much going crazy right now over the internet. But I'll see you soon. Take care, and bye for now.